Good day, everyone. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be here with each and every one of you all today at the Leaders Live Generously Summit, where I will be sharing my talk on thriving beyond the mirror, the transformative power of survivors and leadership. My name is Dr. Michelle D. Clark, and I'm just a small town girl with big time dreams who God has definitely shown his grace and his mercy, and he saved me from some life-threatening things. And when I talk about small town, I'm referring to Harvey, Illinois. Most people don't even know where that is. It's a suburb near the south side of Chicago. And unfortunately, you don't have to be a reporter on America's Most Wanted to know how Chicago got its nickname Chirac. But fortunately, I was blessed to have two wonderful parents who instilled morals, values, and principles within me and my siblings. So I went to school, I got excellent grades, I earned a bachelor's in psychology, master's in social work, and a PhD in recognition of entrepreneurship and business administration. But today I want to talk to you about the other PhD I earned, the one I got from the School of Hard Knocks. When I was a teenager, I used to get teased a lot about the size of my breasts. As a result, I developed a complex about my outer appearance. I just did not feel feminine enough. But with time and therapy, I learned to become more accepting of my physique. However, after experiencing a long-term relationship riddled with domestic violence, I was left to pick up the broken pieces of my confidence. And just when it seemed as though I was gaining my footing, I was stricken with two strokes, followed by stage 2 breast cancer 1 year later. I was told that if I wanted to live, I had to undergo a mastectomy of my left breast. Now, you know that nobody is completely symmetric on both sides, right? So the irony of it all is that the left side was my larger side. So I stayed flat on that side for approximately 3 years after radiation therapy because of the two strokes prior to cancer, and then I suffered a mini stroke afterwards. Finally, I was cleared for breast reconstruction surgery, which also had its hiccups. The expander in my chest started to leak. So they had to remove it and put in a placeholder implant until they could schedule the next surgery to give me the matching set. But before they could do that, COVID shut down all surgeries. So first I was flat on one side for 3 years, and now I had one larger breast and one smaller breast. It's like, can we get this right? After 3 more years, I was scheduled for the completion surgery. So I got to the hospital, put my cap and gown on, ready to graduate to the other side of surgery. And right before they wheeled me into the OR, they told me I had to take a COVID test, and then they would get started. Well, the nurse came back with this look on her face. And I'm like, oh no, 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 no. My heart started to sink. She said that I had COVID and I had to put my clothes on and leave. I was devastated. I pleaded with her, please retest me. I've thrown a false positive in the past, but unfortunately they refused and I left. By the way, it was another false positive according to a subsequent test that I took at the health department. So they rescheduled me. Unfortunately, 10 days before that surgery, I actually caught COVID. I was on this emotional roller coaster ride, wondering why Murphy's Law was on steroids in my life and why I was left yet again looking in the mirror at an unfinished science project. Finally, third time's a charm, and the surgery was completed. Overall, my personal journey with breast cancer, from diagnosis to mastectomy to reconstruction to revisions, all that spanned approximately 10 years. But it was that 5-month time lapse between the snatch surgery and the third time's a charm surgery that forced me to pause in my pain and pull out my passion. You see, after the dust had cleared, I realized that the trials and tribulations and traumas that I experienced had made me who I am today. I am the CEO of Lift After Breast Cancer, where we empower high-performing female breast cancer survivors to live inspired, free, and transformed. I am a survivor. For me, survivorship didn't just mean overcoming breast cancer. It meant rediscovering who I was beyond adversity. It meant learning to embrace scars, not as a reminder of pain, but as symbols of resilience and strength. Please understand that today's talk, this story isn't just about breast cancer. It's about what happens when life throws us a curveball, when we lose what we thought defined us and are forced to reimagine everything. We all face these mirror moments at some point in our life. So let me ask you some quick qualifying questions. Have you ever had an illness? Have you ever experienced loss? Have you ever had a professional setback? Have you ever suffered from a relationship ending? After we have lived through these experiences, we find ourselves asking, who am I now? If you ever felt this way, then guess what? You're in the right place at the right time. Today, I want to share how those moments can shape us into leaders who inspire, who connect, and thrive, and how we can redefine leadership not as perfection, but as resilience in action. I'm going to take you on a journey to thrive beyond the mirror, to tap into the transformative power of survivors in leadership. So if you haven't already, now's the time to go ahead and get in the gap. Grab your pen and paper. Let's first start with the mirror. It's something we all confront daily. It's a reflection that often feels like a measure of who we are. After my diagnosis, that mirror became my greatest adversary. The physical scars told one story, but the emotional scars whispered something louder. They said, "You're no longer the woman you once were." I realized I tied so much of my identity to what I saw on the surface. And I mean, isn't that what we do? Isn't that what many of us do? We let the world define our worth through our appearances and titles or achievements. But here's the truth that I learned: mirrors lie. It only reflects what's on the surface. It doesn't show the battles we fought, the lessons we learned, the resilience we've gained. For me, looking beyond the mirror wasn't just about reclaiming my self-worth. It was about realizing that my scars, visible or not, were a testament to the strength within me. So I ask you today, what are the mirrors in your life that are holding you back? What stories are they telling you that you need to rewrite? If you don't know the answer, that's okay. Leadership isn't about having all the answers. To thrive beyond the mirror, it's about having the courage to navigate the unknown and the strength to show up authentically. So, after understanding that the metaphoric mirror only reflects the surface, let's now explore our internal reflection of thriving beyond the mirror: resilient leadership. Resilience, I found, is a leadership superpower. It's forged in the fires of adversity. Whether it's surviving a health crisis, navigating personal loss, or pivoting after a career setback. Resilience teaches us to adapt, to persevere, and to find beauty in rebuilding. When I began coaching, advocacy work, and empowering others, I thought I needed to show up as a perfect leader. What I discovered was that my strength lay in my authenticity and being honest about the challenges I faced and the lessons I learned. Authentic leaders create spaces where others feel safe to show up just as they are and who they are. They don't inspire through perfection, they inspire through connection. So, as leaders, let's ask ourselves, how can we use our experiences, and not just the triumphs, but the struggles, as a foundation for empathy and connection? So, we talked about the metaphoric mirror and resilient leadership. Now, let's talk about generosity as a transformative power in leadership. When we think of the word generosity, we often think of what we can give to others: our time, our energy, our resources. But the truth is, in order to thrive beyond the mirror and lead generously, it must first start with being generous to ourselves. For many of us, especially survivors and leaders, this can feel counterintuitive. We're so used to pouring into others, our families, our careers, our communities, that we often neglect to refill our own cup. But here's the thing: you can't lead from a place of depletion. To truly lead generously, you must first embrace generosity towards yourself. This means giving yourself the grace to heal, the space to grow, and the permission to dream again. It's about acknowledging your own needs and allowing yourself the time and care to meet them. When you give yourself the gift of generosity, you're not being selfish. You're building the foundation for the ripple effect that you want to create. Because when we're generous with ourselves, something shifts. We feel more centered, more empowered, more aligned with who we truly are. And from that place, we can show up fully for others, not out of obligation, but from a place of abundance. So once we filled our own cup, we're able to turn outwards and lead generously by sharing our stories. For me, leading generously means recognizing that your journey, your resilience, isn't just for you. The strength you've gained, the lessons you've learned, and the wisdoms you've earned are the light that can guide others who are still trying to find their way. Sharing your story isn't just a gift, it's an act of courage and connection. When we share our stories, we give others permission to share theirs. We create a space where people feel seen, feel understood, and feel inspired. And in doing so, we spark something incredible, a ripple effect of empowerment and possibility. I've seen this power. I've seen the power of this ripple effect firsthand in spaces that I've created for survivors to gather, share, and thrive. What starts with one person sharing their truth then becomes a community of people empowered to step into their own stories. And this ripple effect doesn't just stay in those spaces. It extends into workplaces, families, and communities. It transforms how we lead, how we connect, and how we show up in the world. So I challenge you, how can you practice self-generosity in your own life? What would it look like to pour into yourself with that same compassion and care that you give to others? And once you've done that, how can you extend that generosity outwards? Who in your life can you lift? How can you create a ripple of empowerment and possibility? The transformative power of leading generously isn't about grand gestures or big moments. It's about those small, intentional acts of kindness, courage, and authenticity that inspires others to do the same. And it all starts with you. So first we addressed the mirror of surface reflections. Then we explored resilience as our leadership power. Then after that, we also talked about being generous, leading generously. So finally, in order to thrive beyond the mirror as a survivor in leadership, let's talk about redefining beauty and leadership. Traditionally, ideas of beauty and leadership often box us in. They tell us what we need to do, how we need to act, how we need to look a certain way, those types of things in order to be deemed worthy. But the truth is, leadership isn't about fitting into a mold, it's about breaking it. For me, redefining beauty meant embracing the parts of myself that society would have deemed flawed and seeing them as a source of strength instead. Redefining leadership meant showing up not as someone who had all the answers, but as someone who's willing to learn, willing to connect, and willing to grow. So whether you're a survivor, an entrepreneur, a leader, a business owner, or someone navigating a personal challenge, know this. Your story has powers. Your scars, your resilience, your authenticity. They're what make you a leader worth following. But before I go, you know what? I don't know if you've ever gone to any kind of conferences or webinars or trainings or summits and feel this energized, like feeling, but just really didn't know what to do with it after you heard all that awesome information. Well, before we close, I want to leave you with three guiding principles that have shaped my journey as a survivor and a leader, empower me to thrive beyond the mirror as a survivor in leadership. These three takeaways are not just lessons from my life, they're invitations for you to reflect on your own path and take action to step into the leader that you were meant to be in order to lead beyond the mirror. The first actionable step and takeaway that I want to leave with you in order to thrive beyond the mirror as transformative survivors in leadership is that resilience redefines leadership. Leadership isn't about avoiding challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about embracing the lessons that hardship teaches us and using them to grow stronger and more compassionate. Think about a time in your life where everything just seemed to be falling apart. Perhaps it was an illness, a career setback, or personal loss. Did it teach you how to pivot? Did it show you strengths that you didn't even know you had? Resilience is about the ability to get back up, to bounce back, not as the same person you were before, but as someone wiser, stronger, more grounded. Leaders who embrace resilience lead with empathy because they know what it feels like to struggle. They inspire trust because they walked through the fire and came out on the other side. So when life challenges you, oh, and it will, don't see it as something to hide or minimize. Instead, ask yourself, how can this moment shape me into the leader I'm meant to be? The second actionable takeaway, in order to thrive beyond the mirror as transformative survivors in leadership, is the power of authenticity. The world doesn't need perfect leaders. It needs authentic ones. When I first stepped into advocacy, I thought leading and leadership meant projecting an image of strength at all times. But what I learned is that authenticity, showing up with my scars, my doubts, and my story is what truly connects us as humans. People don't follow leaders who seem untouchable. They follow those who are relatable. When you share your vulnerabilities, you give others permission to do the same. When you celebrate your victories, no matter how big, tall, small, and all, you remind others of their own capacity to succeed. Take a moment to reflect. Are you showing up as your whole self, or are you holding back parts of your story out of fear of judgment? What could change if you let people see the real you, the challenges you faced, the values you hold, the lessons you've learned? Authenticity builds bridges, it creates trust, and in leadership, trust is everything. The final actionable step and takeaway that I want to lead you with in order to thrive beyond the mirror as transformative leaders and survivors in leadership is that community amplifies impact. No one thrives alone. Throughout my journey, I've learned that community is a lifeline. Whether it's a support group, a team of colleagues, or a gathering of like-minded individuals. Being surrounded by people who get you, people who believe in you, can transform your path. Think about the people who have lifted you, those who encourage you to dream bigger, to take risks, or to keep going when you wanted to give up. Now, think about how you can be that person for someone else. Leadership isn't about standing alone at the top. It's about reaching back and grabbing those and lifting others as you climb. It's about creating spaces where people feel seen, feel heard, and feel valued. When you pour into others, you create that ripple effect. Your impact extends beyond what you can see, touching lives that you may never even meet. So ask yourself, how can I build a community that amplifies not just my success, but the success of others? So as you reflect on these takeaways, these actionable steps, remember that transformation starts with small, intentional steps. And if you're ready to begin reclaiming your confidence and purpose, I want to share a free gift with you. The Self-Rediscovery Blueprint. It's 5 simple steps to reclaim your confidence and purpose after life's setbacks. So this gift is filled with simple exercises to help you reconnect with yourself, rediscover your strength, and create a vision for your next chapter. So this is my way of supporting you on your journey. So before we go, I'm going to pause real quickly here and let me pull this up because I want you all to see the screen. So that way you can know how you can get your copy of this transformative guide. So all you have to do is text the word blueprint to 586-685-7474. So text blueprint along with your name and email. Again, text blueprint, the code word blueprint, along with your name and email address to 586-685-7474. And then you will receive your gift, my gift from me to you. And these steps are things that I've utilized, things that has helped me to step into my transformative power as a survivor in leadership. All right, cool beans. So as we close, I want to close with these final thoughts. So with these final thoughts, I want us to reflect. I want us to reflect on the mirror moments in our lives, the ones where we question who we are and what we're capable of. These are the moments that define us and prepare us to lead with resilience, authenticity, and generosity. As you step out of this space today, I want to challenge you. Don't let life's setbacks define your limits. Instead, use them as stepping stones towards something greater. Embrace the power of your story. Lead with your whole heart and never, ever underestimate the impact of lifting someone else. Because when we lead beyond the mirror as transformative survivors in leadership, we create a world where resilience, authenticity, and community are at the heart of everything we do. I want to thank you for sharing this space with me. My name is Dr. Michele D. Clark, and I am the CEO of Lift After Breast Cancer. Let's walk forward together, leading generously, thriving boldly, and living inspired, free, and transformed. Take care. God bless.